Love doesn't see age. It only sees the trembling truth hiding in two hearts, the quiet courage of a soul reaching for another soul, the soft confession that time could never silence. Love doesn't pause to count the years. It doesn't ask how long one has lived. It only asks how deeply one can feel, how honestly one can surrender. It doesn't measure wrinkles or youth, for love is older than all calendars, and younger than every new dawn that rises between two people discovering each other. Love doesn't see age. It only sees the glow behind someone's voice, the warmth in a trembling smile, the magic in a name whispered at night. Love steps beyond the rules the world tries to write, beyond judgments, beyond expectations, beyond the fear of what will they say, because what they say has never been louder than what the heart cries in silence. Love doesn't see age. It only sees how two hands fit, how two eyes speak, how two hearts beat in the same wild rhythm. Even if one learned the rhythm long before the other, age is a number, but love is a universe, a breath, a spark, a forever-born flame, lighting itself again and again, in hearts that refuse to give up on miracles. And when love arrives, it does not ask permission, it does not fill out a form, it does not check the passport of years lived. It simply walks in, stays, and changes everything. Love doesn't see age. It sees destiny. It sees longing wrapped in courage. It sees two souls meeting in a moment that was written long before either was born. Some call it strange, some call it wrong, but the heart only calls it truth, a truth that stands unmoved. When the world points fingers, for the world counts years, but the heart counts moments, and sometimes one moment is more precious than all the years behind or ahead. Love doesn't see age. It sees devotion. It sees the promises two souls whisper when no one else is listening. It sees the way the older heart learns to feel young again, and the younger heart learns the depth of emotions that only time can teach. Love creates a bridge between lifetimes, a bridge built of tenderness, a bridge walked bravely by two souls who choose each other, over fear, over doubt, over rules, even if one heart has seen storms, and the other has only tasted spring. They meet in the season called destiny, where age dissolves and only truth remains. For love doesn't see age. It sees home. It sees the place where two souls rest, where two voices soften, where two dreams merge quietly, like rivers finding the same sea. Let the world talk. Let time pass. Let seasons change. Love remains untouched. Because love is not a question of age. It is a question of the soul. And the soul? Oh, the soul! It never grows old. Love doesn't see age. It only sees how two souls rise when they meet, how they lift each other quietly, how they breathe easier in each other's presence, as if the world becomes less heavy. When one heart finds its missing echo, people say age matters, but they forget that time bends. For those who are meant to meet, sometimes the one who came later understands you more deeply than those who walked beside you for years. Love doesn't compare calendars, it compares truths. It compares courage. It compares the way two destinies collide, without warning, without logic, with nothing but a force that refuses to be denied. Love doesn't see age. It sees connection, a connection that feels older than all the lifetimes you've lived, a connection that feels so familiar. It is impossible to call it coincidence. Some souls meet late, but their hearts recognize each other instantly, as if they have loved 1,000 times and lost each other just to meet again. Here, now, in this fragile present. Love doesn't see age. It sees fate moving its invisible hand, pushing two people toward each other, until they collide with a warmth that not even the coldest doubts can extinguish. When love arrives, it doesn't ask, "How old are you?" It asks, "Where have you been hiding all this time?" It asks, "Why does my heart feel full only when you are near?" Love teaches the older heart to smile like a child again, to dream without fear, to hope without hesitation. Love teaches the younger heart that devotion isn't measured in years lived, but in how deeply one can care, how honestly one can commit, how fiercely one can protect the soul they choose. Love doesn't see age. It sees the courage behind choosing each other. When the world questions your bond, when the whispers grow loud, when the judgments rise like storms, but real love Real love does not bow to storms. It learns to stand taller. It learns to hold tighter. It learns to grow stronger, because the world's doubt only proves how rare such love is. Age cannot stop a soul from feeling what is true. Age cannot silence a heart that was born to love another heart. Age cannot erase destiny, when destiny has already written two names beside each other. Love doesn't see age. It sees softness in the moments shared. It sees comfort in the silence between two breaths. It sees trust in the way two hands meet. Even when thousands of eyes are watching, love is a fearless traveler. It crosses borders made of years, climbs mountains built of society's expectations, and still arrives untouched, still arrives shining, still arrives pure. For love knows something the world often forgets, that hearts do not grow old, that souls do not wrinkle, that affection does not fade because of numbers on a calendar. Love doesn't see age. It sees the light in someone's gaze. It sees the peace in someone's presence. It sees the future in someone's name. And when love chooses you, it chooses completely. Not halfway. Not cautiously, but fully, boldly, with a passion that defies logic, with a tenderness that defies reason. Because love, the pure kind, the kind that transforms, knows no boundaries except the ones you believe in. And when two hearts stop believing in boundaries, they become impossible to break. Love doesn't see age. It sees eternity. It sees a forever, hidden in a single touch, a lifetime. Hidden in a single gaze, a destiny. Hidden in two words whispered softly, I choose you. Love doesn't see age. It sees the harmony between two souls who were strangers yesterday, yet feel like destiny today. It sees how two voices blend, even when their lifetimes don't, how two dreams merge, even when their paths were written years apart. Love doesn't measure who is older or who arrived first in this world. It measures who arrived first in your heart. It sees the strength of emotions that grow quietly in hidden places, the affection that blooms, even when logic says it shouldn't, the devotion that deepens with every shared moment, no matter the years between. Love doesn't see age. It sees how deeply one soul listens. When the other speaks, how gently one heart softens. When the other hurts, how fiercely one spirit protects the happiness of the other. Love doesn't see numbers. It sees need. It sees longing. It sees connection stronger than the fear of judgment, because love was never meant to fit inside the limits the world tries to impose. It was meant to rise above them, to shine beyond them, to prove that two souls can fit, even when the world says they shouldn't. Love doesn't see age. It sees balance. It sees how the younger one brings life to the elder one's world, teaching them to smile again with the innocence of new beginnings. It sees how the older one brings wisdom to the younger one's fears, teaching them how love can be steady, how it can be loyal, how it can be patient. In a world that rushes everything, together they become a perfect equation. The world cannot solve, but the heart understands instantly. Love doesn't see age. It sees that one heart is calm, while the other is wild, and somehow they complete each other in ways that no one else ever could. It sees the beauty of contrast, the blend of experience and youth, of maturity and innocence, of past lessons and future hopes. It sees the tenderness shared in hidden conversations, the comfort found in moments nobody else notices, the warmth that grows whenever one name appears on the other's lips. Love doesn't see age. It sees the truth. Two souls try to hide the truth they deny at first, but cannot escape forever, that they are drawn to each other by something deeper than time, older than years, stronger than logic. Love sees how tightly two fingers intertwine, trying to protect a fragile bond from the world's loud questions. It sees how one glance from the beloved can silence 1,000 storms, how one smile can heal 100 wounds, how one presence can erase all loneliness. Love doesn't see age. It sees destiny, a destiny that might have taken years to arrange, but arrives exactly when two hearts need it most. Some meet early and never learn to cherish their love. Some meet late and cherish it more than anything they have ever known. Age has nothing to do with timing. Hearts meet when they are ready, not when the world expects them to. And when they meet, everything changes, everything softens, everything becomes possible. Love doesn't see age. It sees the courage it takes to love anyway, to love boldly, to love truly, to love without fear of what the world will say, because the world talks, but only love stays. Love doesn't see age. It sees the way two hearts pause when they hear each other's names, as if the universe has pressed a gentle fingertip on the center of their souls. It sees the way one message can brighten an entire day, how a single hello can melt walls built over years, how a simple smile can turn fear into courage. Love doesn't measure time lived. It measures time felt. It measures how many moments you spent thinking about that person, how many nights their memory kept you awake, how many days their absence felt heavier than the years between you. Love doesn't see age. It sees the purity of affection that grows without permission, that deepens without intention, that becomes impossible to hide. No matter how hard you try, it sees the tenderness in the way two souls speak softly when they are afraid of losing each other, the carefulness in the way they hold each other emotion as if protecting a treasure the world cannot understand. Love sees vulnerability, the kind that only appears when a bond becomes real. It sees the trembling honesty in confessions whispered late at night, those soft admissions of longing that only two connected souls can understand. Love doesn't see age. It sees moments of truth, too strong to ignore, the kind where your heart flutters, not because of youth, but because someone touches the deepest parts of your soul. It sees how the older one learns to believe again, how their fears soften, how their life regains color they thought time had taken away. It sees how the younger one feels safe for the first time, how they find comfort in wisdom and stability, how they discover a love that feels like home and destiny at the same time. Love doesn't see age. It sees the way two souls heal each other quietly. It sees the laughter shared over stories from different eras, the unity found in dreams from different stages of life. It sees the beauty in discovering that heart don't need to match in year, to match in love. Love sees the bravery in choosing each other, even when the world questions what the heart already knows. It sees how two hearts learn to walk together, step by step, despite the noise around them, despite the eyes watching, despite the distance of years between their birth dates. Love doesn't see age. It sees depth, depth of connection, depth of loyalty, depth of emotion that cannot be explained, but can be felt in every shared breath. It sees the way your heart becomes softer around them, the way your voice changes when you speak to them, the way your soul glows when they are near. Love doesn't see age. It sees truth, a truth so powerful it becomes impossible to deny, a truth that holds you both in a silent promise. I am yours, even if the world doesn't understand. For love isn't defined by what others think. It is defined by what two souls feel, and when two souls feel deeply, nothing, not distance, not doubt, not years, can stand between them. Love doesn't see age. It sees destiny unfolding, one moment at a time, revealing a story written long before either heart learned how to beat. Love doesn't see age. It sees the silent promises made between two hearts who never planned to fall, but fell anyway, deeply, suddenly, beyond all logic. It sees the way two souls keep returning to each other, even after trying to walk away, even after convincing themselves that the difference in years makes their feelings impossible. But love laughs gently. At the word impossible, it whispers, if it wasn't meant to be, why does your heart ache every time you try to leave? Love doesn't see age. It sees the invisible thread pulling two souls closer. No matter how far they run, no matter how hard they deny what is growing between them, it sees the way one heart becomes the calm the other has been searching for, the way one smile becomes the peace the other never knew they needed. It sees the glow in moments they think no one notices, the soft sigh when they finally speak, the quiet joy when they finally meet, the trembling relief when they realize the feeling is mutual. Love doesn't see age. It sees the rare magic of understanding without explanation, of connection without force, of comfort without effort. It sees the way laughter sounds different. When shared with the right person, how even the simplest conversation feels like a treasure. How even silence feels like a place to rest. Love sees the loyalty in choosing each other again and again. Even when doubts whisper, even when fear rises, even when time tries to become an obstacle. Love doesn't see age. It sees the look in someone's eyes when they realize they have found someone who truly understands them. It sees the honesty in every confession of fear, in every admission of longing, in every fragile truth spoken softly in late-night conversations. It sees how the older heart brings grounding, stability, and patience, a gentle reassurance. That love doesn't always have to hurt. It sees how the younger heart brings fire, innocence, and joy. A reminder that love can still feel like sunrise, even after a lifetime of storms. Together they create a balance, so natural that the world's doubts fade, its questions lose meaning, its judgments turn silent. Love doesn't see age. It sees the courage it takes to build something real, despite all odds. It sees the bravery in choosing truth over opinion, emotion over expectation, soul over society. It sees the beauty in two hearts deciding that their bond is worth fighting for, worth the whispers, worth the resistance, worth the risk. For love has never belonged to those who fear, but to those who feel. And when two people feel deeply, when they feel with a clarity that shakes them, when they feel with a certainty that humbles them, no gap in years can break what destiny has quietly stitched together. Love doesn't see age. It sees a story unfolding in perfect timing, a story written in the language of hearts, not numbers, a story no one else needs to understand except the two who are living it. Love doesn't see age. It sees the courage it takes for two souls to admit that they feel something rare, something the world cannot measure, something time cannot weaken, something fate refuses to undo. Love sees the trembling moment, right before the truth is spoken, when two hearts already know what the lips are afraid to say. It sees the softness in their voices, when they finally confess, the relief in their smiles, when the admission is mutual, the peace settling quietly, when the fear of losing turns into the joy of choosing. Love doesn't see age. It sees how their hearts beat differently for each other, how their souls lean closer every time they speak, how their presence alone feels like healing. It sees the way their laughter changes, how it becomes warmer, how it becomes fuller, how it carries a tenderness that wasn't there before. Love watches the older soul grow young in spirit, rediscovering hope they thought had faded years ago, and love watches the younger soul grow stronger, learning that maturity is not measured in age, but in the depth of loyalty and the honesty of emotion. Love doesn't see age. It sees growth, the kind of growth only two connected souls can inspire in each other. It sees the older heart teaching patience, teaching understanding, teaching the beauty of moving slowly, safely, gently. It sees the younger heart teaching spontaneity, teaching courage, teaching the beauty of believing boldly, fearlessly, completely. Together they create a balance, more powerful than time, more sacred than years, more meaningful than logic. Love doesn't see age. It sees how their hands fit perfectly, one steady, one eager, but both ready to hold the other forever. It sees the warmth in the way they remember the smallest details about each other, the favorite color, the softest dream, the secret fear, the hidden wound. It sees the devotion in the way they comfort each other, with words when needed, with silence when words are too heavy to carry. Love doesn't see age. It sees the honest emotions that spill through their eyes. Every time they meet, it sees how the world fades when they look at each other, how noise turns into music, how chaos turns into calm, how doubt turns into certainty. Love sees the bravery in choosing each other in a world that doesn't understand, connections that defy numbers. It sees the quiet strength in holding on, in not letting go because of opinions that will never feel what the two hearts feel. Love doesn't see age. It sees a bond that deepens with every moment. A bond time did not create, but time will never destroy. It sees a story unfolding, with the gentle certainty of destiny. A story stitched together. By timing, by longing, by divine orchestration. Love doesn't see age, it sees forever. Not in the length of life, but in the depth of connection. Not in the years ahead, but in the meaning within each moment. And when two souls recognize each other across generations, across seasons, across timelines, they realize love has never belonged to the calendar. It belongs to the heart. Love doesn't see age. It sees how two hearts mirror each other, even though their birthdays are written in different decades. It sees how their souls speak in the same language, a language older than time itself, a language whispered long before either heart entered this world. Love doesn't see age. It sees recognition, that deep, undeniable feeling of, I've known you before. I've waited for you. I've been searching for exactly your kind of soul. It sees how the older one feels alive again, as if someone opened a window they didn't realize was closed. It sees how the younger one feels understood for the first time, as if someone finally heard the words they never said aloud. Love doesn't see age. It sees completion. Two halves meeting, not because they are broken, but because together they become more than either ever could alone. It sees how their conversations flow like rivers, effortless, natural, deep enough to drown in, calm enough to heal in. It sees how their silences speak louder than words, how their eyes hold entire paragraphs, how their presence feels like a prayer answered. Love doesn't see age. It sees destiny, a destiny that unfolded slowly, quietly, patiently, until the moment arrived when the two hearts were finally ready. It sees the way one's experience becomes the other's shelter, how one's innocence becomes the other's light. It sees how they teach each other without trying, the older one showing that love can be gentle, the younger one showing that love can be fearless. Love doesn't see age. It sees the way their souls reach for each other, even in a crowded room, even in the noise of life, even in the distance of years. It sees how their stories, though written separately, begin to blend like two melodies, forming one unforgettable song. It sees how the older heart protects the younger one, not out of authority, but out of affection. It sees how the younger heart cherishes the older one, not out of dependence, but out of admiration. Love doesn't see age. It sees loyalty, the kind that stands firm, even when the world tries to shake it. It sees the truth behind their emotions, the truth that love arrives when it is meant to, not when it is convenient, not when it is expected. It sees the bravery in choosing happiness over society's rules, in choosing connection over fear, in choosing each other over the world's judgment. Love doesn't see age. It sees the way their souls intertwine, like threads woven by the hands of fate. It sees the future in their shared dreams, the comfort in their shared breaths, the devotion in their shared silence. And in those moments, when doubts appear, when the world becomes loud, when the years between them feel heavy, love stays. Love reassures. Love strengthens. Because love doesn't choose based on numbers. Love chooses based on hearts. And these two hearts belong to each other in a way that defies time, defies age, defies everything except truth. Love doesn't see age. It sees two souls who found each other against all odds and refused to let go. Love doesn't see age. It sees two souls who look at each other as if they've finally found what the universe kept hidden for far too long. It sees the warmth in the way their voices soften whenever they speak, how their tones melt into a rare harmony only destiny could create. Love doesn't see age. It sees sincerity, the kind that isn't acted, the kind that cannot be faked, the kind that reveals itself in the smallest gestures, the quietest moments, the deepest sighs. It sees how their stories, though written years apart, align perfectly. When their hearts meet, it sees how the older soul finds hope again where they once felt tired, how the younger soul finds guidance where they once felt lost. Love doesn't see age. It sees healing, the subtle stitching of wounds never spoken, the gentle filling of empty spaces neither knew existed. It sees the magic in stolen glances, the tenderness in exchanged smiles, the longing hiding in every take care, every are you fine, every I missed you today. Love doesn't compare years, it compares souls. It measures how deeply one heart knows another, how effortlessly two energies blend, how powerfully two spirits recognize what emotions cannot hide. Love doesn't see age, it sees the nights. They stay awake, thinking about each other. The mornings, they wake up smiling. Because of a dream they cannot explain. It sees the devotion growing quietly between them, like a sacred flame, protected from the wind, steady, even when the world outside is full of storms. It sees how the older heart cherishes the younger one, with a tenderness, born of experience, born of understanding, the value of rare love. It sees how the younger heart trusts the older one, with a sincerity, born of purity, born of discovering a love deeper than anything their age has ever known. Love doesn't see age. It sees balance, a balance of protection and passion, of wisdom and innocence, of patience and fire. It sees a love that doesn't seek permission from society, a bond that doesn't need validation from strangers. It sees two hearts choosing each other in a world that often chooses the wrong things. Love doesn't see age. It sees the way their hearts feel safer when they speak, the way their fears shrink when they listen, the way their souls glow when they meet. It sees the sacredness of their connection, a connection built not on years lived, but on emotions felt with breathtaking intensity. It sees a destiny so precisely written that even the years between them seem like a divine test. They were always meant to overcome. Love doesn't see age. It sees the truth behind their eyes, the truth that says, "You are mine," in a way the world will never understand. And that truth, silent yet powerful, holds them together across time, across doubt, across everything that tries to keep them apart. Love doesn't see age. It sees fate, finally fulfilled. Love never weakens, even when the night grows heavy with unanswered prayers, even when silence becomes a second heartbeat that echoes painfully beneath the ribs. I still walk toward you, through deserts of distance, through storms of misunderstanding, through shadows you never saw forming behind my smile. My love does not retreat. My love does not rest. My love does not surrender. For every tear you hide, I have 1,000 unspoken words, waiting to wrap around you like a warm dawn. For every time you looked away, thinking you were protecting me from your storms, I stood closer in my soul, wishing you would let the rain fall on both of us. Love never weakens, even when you gave me reasons to fold my heart like abandoned letters in the drawers of broken hopes. I still unfold them. I still read them. I still believe them, because you are the paragraph my life keeps rewriting in every moment of longing. You are the breath I don't know how to stop holding. You are the prayer that refuses to fade. Even when fate closes all its doors, love never weakens. It grows bones. It grows courage. It grows wings strong enough to fly through the ruins of yesterday and still land softly at your feet. I do not fear losing you. I fear a world where I never tried enough, never loved enough, never waited enough. So here I stand, hands empty, heart overflowing, eyes refusing to give up. Because love, real love, doesn't collapse under distance, doesn't shatter under silence, doesn't fade under doubt. Real love keeps burning. Even when the world runs out of fire, real love keeps standing. Even when everything is trying to fall, real love keeps whispering your name. Even when no one else remembers it. And my love, my endless, restless, stubborn love, still whispers you, still reaches for you, still waits for you. Because love never weakens. Not mine. Not for you. Not in this lifetime. Not in any that follow.